Live. Hold that thought, Frankie. I'm coming right back to you. I'm Bridget Bartlett. I'm the CEO and founder of Vision Marketing and Design, and today is Friday, so that means it is our weekly Q&A day. If you are a member, you can click the link in the description and get logged in, and you can join us. You do need to be a member, which you can join at bridgetbartlett.com. Let me share my screen here so everyone knows. You can go to bridgetbartlett.com. You can check out, click on events. You can also check out our calendar here. So if you need to get logged in, go ahead and click there. You can click here if you are a member, and then you'll actually get logged in here. So if you click that button, you will see the link to our Zoom meeting. There we go. You just click there and join us. Something else I did want to share. Cloud Key, L Messenger, as you all know, L Messenger is awesome, but it is a Chrome extension. And sometimes when you deal with Chrome extensions, they can get kind of wonky. And especially when you're using a tool that's like L Messenger or some of the other Facebook marketing tools, you are constantly having to keep updating according to when Facebook updates their system, and then also when Chrome updates their system. So you're constantly battling the two. Well, what Cloud Key has done is they actually are creating a desktop version of L Messenger. So it's like I can hear angels singing in the background when I look at this picture, because this is exactly what we've needed for so long. So that is coming. I don't know when, but it's definitely coming, and that's super exciting. The next thing I wanted to share with you is Cloud Key is also creating Prompt Key, which is basically kind of like AIPRM. AIPRM is something that I actually use. It allows you to create your own prompts. It allows you to share prompts. Something I love that it's like a no-brainer, right? So if you don't know, you can actually look for my prompts. I have one that's a YouTube chapters generator, which I use every single video that I create, because it will take your transcript, which you can use this Google Chrome extension called YouTube Summary with ChatGPT, and it is free. But when you install that and you go to your YouTube channel, like let me pop on a YouTube video here. Let me go to one of my videos like this one here. When you have that installed, you can go to your video. Let me mute that. And when you click here, this is where the extension shows, right? You can actually create an AI summary here just by clicking that. It goes and opens up your ChatGPT. Or you can click this and it will copy your transcript. So what you do is you go back to the YouTube chapters generator and then you paste in that transcript. But I will tell you that it really works best with the first 10 minutes. Because if you have a really long video, you have a really long transcript, and when you're putting a lot of text as the prompt in ChatGPT, it says error, we don't like it that long. But what I do is I usually paste the first 10 minutes in there, and then it gives me the summary, and then I say I have more to add to this transcript, and then it allows me to do that, and then I just continue from there. So this is definitely cool. Also, if you are using L Messenger, I have a Facebook messaging rewriter tool. This is great because if you use any of these tools, you know that when you're creating message segments, you basically want to take the same thing and then reword it at least 3 times to create 3 different segments. That way it's going to rotate that message every time it gets sent. Okay. This is kind of a way of tricking Facebook into not knowing it's a robot. Okay. If you've seen my post last week, I actually cleaned up my friends list, which I highly recommend that you do. And I unfriended about 1,000 people, but I did it manually because I want to go through and I want to see, are people active? Is this person active? Are they in my, do they meet the criteria of someone who would be interested in my business? If they live in another country right now, HighLevel is best for people in the United States, even though that is changing very soon. Everything, they're going international now that they've really conquered the US market. They're going international probably before the end of this quarter. Okay, so they're definitely working on that at lightning speed to get more payment gateways and all of those things. But all of that is something you want to consider. And when you're looking at their profile, if they have not engaged or posted anything in like 2 months, just unfriend them, because you need people who are going to be active on Facebook. Otherwise, they're using valuable real estate. Okay. So that's my quick spiel on that. So they are chat or Cloud Key. They're creating their own, which I'm super, super excited about. So I will probably start using this once it's ready instead of AIPRM, but we'll see how that goes. Something else that I wanted to share with you as well is, and hopefully you guys can see this. Can you see this calculator here?
Yes.
Okay. This is coming out Monday. Cloud Key is releasing this. And if you guys know, Cloud Key has, their training is so great when it comes to, using Messenger for outreach and things like that. And they have what they call the 9 steps. Let me get this exactly right. If you go to the classroom here, you'll see the 9 core commitments. Okay, so if you guys are kind of struggling with getting a good grasp on how you can use Messenger to find your target audience, this is really, really great. I definitely recommend this. All of you guys should have access to this. It's in your resource area. But this is, you can access this as part of your sub-partner resources. But what's cool is they have not only all of this training and all of these steps that you can go through, but now they have this guide here to keep you accountable. So all of you who are like, I wish I had a checklist, here you go. They're providing you the checklist so that you can, make sure that you are doing all of the steps every single day. It gives you something to say, okay, here's what I'm doing now. Here's what I'm doing now. And then you just check that off the list. So that is coming on Monday. They are releasing that. I think that is all that I wanted to share with you. So Frankie, I was just talking right before we hopped online. We've been doing this whole training series on marketing for churches. I always say I market for Jesus all the time, but specifically marketing for churches. So if you're an agency owner and you are interested in helping churches, build their brand online and all of those things, that's kind of what we're talking. Or if you are a church, and that's what we're talking about. But one of the things about that, and I was just saying, is you can actually become an ordained minister online. You literally can just type in your name and email address and become an ordained minister. But if this is your niche, I'm not saying everybody be ordained, but if this is your niche, that may be something that you want to consider if you're interested in. It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't really take any time, but it does give you the ability to do weddings, baptisms, funerals. You have all the rights according to the government. And it does matter which state you live in. Indiana is where I live, and there's no requirements for that. But this is a great way of having some, if you want to do weddings, what a cool thing to do for a living. But it is also a great way of getting your foot in the door to a lot of these churches and things. So just something to consider. So I did want to see what Frankie was going to say, because I said, hold on, Frankie, I'm getting ready to go live and I don't want to miss it. So
yeah, every time you start talking about the marketing to the churches and all, I get really excited and really interested, because my opinion, we are to minister to other people. And I don't mean shoving religion down anybody's throat, but present it. And I wanted to tell you that I spoke at my church on Palm Sunday, and so many people came up to me and said how much they received from that message. So I'm going forward with that, not every time, but because it does take a lot of time to prepare any type of speech. And I wanted to tell you, I attended, or rather I was a member of Toastmasters years ago, and that organization helped me a lot as far as preparing speeches. I've spoken some, not a lot, but I've used that information every time I've spoken. And so when you said something about marketing to churches, I feel like that's would be part of my ministry. And I'm just so excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited about it too. I mean, how rewarding is that? But I think, and I try to drive this home all the time, is it's not really like, don't think about, oh, I want an online business, so I guess I have to do affiliate marketing or something like that. What we want to do is we want to build businesses around our individual passions. So if it's Jesus, if it is health and fitness, if it is skincare, makeup, whatever you're passionate about, that's what you should focus on, and then just find a way to monetize. And it really is as easy as that. When you're marketing, you're talking about churches and Christianity, or if you're Muslim or whatever it is, these are still people. They're people you have something in common with already, but they still need marketing. I mean, churches they run like a business. They have bills. They have, they need to get people in the door, just like Bob the plumber, who needs new plumbing clients. So if it is your niche, it's definitely a lucrative niche, and my personal opinion, incredibly rewarding. I can't think of a better ministry than helping churches
That's right.
promote the message, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, cool.
Can I say in passing, you're right. A church is a business in many ways. Even most churches have a declaration that goes to the state, and taxes and all that. We in Tampa, I just moved from Tampa, so I had been there 39 years. In Tampa, the church I belonged to and was a pastor at for a long, long time, 26 years, wanted the young kids to be able to contribute, to donate and give. And if you're in college, this was a college town. Tampa is a college town. And if you have 18 to 25-year-olds showing up supported by their parents, they've got very little change in their pockets, but they do have their parents' credit card or their own credit card. And so we looked up and tried to find and tried to make an easy way to give online directly to the church. And we believe that on the first day of the week is when you lay by in store. You can't just come on a Thursday and give money, although we'll take it, But so we made ours through a program that's out there. And if anybody's interested, they could look at it, called Givelify. It's a stupid name, but Givelify is a way to contribute. However, after your discussion yesterday, I would say that another way that may even save a percentage, because Givelify is 3.5% plus a big amount of the total donation, could do it with Stripe, like you just suggested yesterday. And so I'm looking into that now for that church in Tampa who is, everybody gives. Let's say you want to give $100. Well, you're only giving about $96, and the rest goes to administration. And so I know you're only giving about $98 or $97 with Stripe, but at least, that's a savings, and it's an easy way to get it in there without Givelify. We had to jump through all kinds of hoops to only be able to give on Sunday. And you can do that on Stripe very easy. So anyway, it is a business in many ways. And those that are deacons and pastors and elders have to look at that and decide how they're going to spend that money. Is it going to go to some other organization while they're giving it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you can just save, by going directly with Stripe, or, building out the product in HighLevel, like I showed yesterday, then if you could save 2%, imagine at the end of the year what that 2% would be. Imagine what you could do with that 2%. How many families you could help, maybe additional staff, maybe hire a Christian counselor to be on staff. There's so many things you could do with that 2%. So if you can, especially being nonprofit and you rely on donations, that 2% is a huge, huge deal.
And it's a way to get the 18 to 25-year-olds into it, because they just decided not to give. They didn't have any money except quarters in their pockets. Mm-hmm. And instead of not giving, every Sunday now they can go and a regular way of becoming an adult, a regularly giving to a church.
Mhm. Yeah, and I love the idea of, all businesses, regardless of what type of business, everyone's trying to get on a subscription-based, product like Netflix or like software, because it's easier to get, it's like, do you want a donation this month and then nothing the rest of the year? Or do you want a donation every single month that people are, it's just automatically coming out of their bank account. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to be like, okay, it's the month now, and I need to deduct my 10% to tithe, and here's the amount. And then you have to enter in the credit card, and then you have to hit submit, and you see that big number, and then the devil starts working on you. Like, I could really use this for other things, and maybe I should pay more on my mortgage, and maybe I should do. But if you don't have to think about that, it comes right out. So it's better for you as the person. It's also better for the church. So yeah, doing that reoccurring. And plus, who has cash in their pockets? I never
And checks.
ever. Yeah.
Nobody gives checks anymore, hardly.
Mhm.
I mean, that's
No. Yeah.
not nobody, but a lot of people.
Yeah. And then even then, when you get the cash and you get the checks, now you have to have someone who's going to manage that, someone who's going to take that cash and put it in the bank, and then, do the bookkeeping, and then the checks, and all those need to be endorsed and then put into the bank. And all of that takes time. Time is money. If you could just put that QR code on your website, on all your social media, on all of your printed materials, on the big screen when you're doing the message, all of those things, it's all automated. You don't have to worry about that. And the contact info goes right into the CRM.
Yep.
Just a beautiful system.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
I just want to make an observation real quick.
Mhm.
This group right now is a clear, exactly what Bridget talks about. The people that are going to be in your group are the people that you want in your group, that are attracted to you because of what your values are and who you are. And it's awesome. It's awesome.
I totally agree with you, Marie. It's so much more fun because, and people talk about all the time, Bridget, I get private messages from people. I just love how open you are about your faith, but I'm doing that. And it's not just because I'm a Christian, I talk about that. It could be whatever it is, that just you being a real person, because people, one, they admire the bravery, especially if it's like controversial. But two, it weeds out. People decide, do they want to be a part of your group or not? And I want them to decide, because we don't want somebody, if we want to talk about our faith or something in this group, and then somebody's like, oh, I hate Christians and this and that. Well, how much fun is that going to be?
Yeah.
Which,
So,
by
yeah.
the way, just to share a couple things. Obviously, I just wanted to say this Sunday, actually, I'm going to be doing a wedding. So I'm officiating one. So I'm working on the content right now, and it's really a lot of fun. I love weddings. I do baptisms already, and but and you do, as an ordained minister, under the laws of the state and the IRS rules, you get a parsonage allowance as well. So that comes off the top. So there has to be sacerdotal duties in order to get the allowance. But at any rate, the other thing I wanted to mention is that I'm working right now on a project that is I'm full-time minister now, pastor, and have been for the last 5 years. So I've come to it. I've come to it older in life. It's almost like Colonel Sanders in a way, right? But what I used to do yeah, that's right. Except I got, this part here. What I used to do years and years ago, I used to work in the merchant account business. I actually used to sell high-end merchant accounts in retail. So and I ran a group of salespeople that did only multi-million-dollar merchant accounts. So for Visa, MasterCard, because each Visa, there's exchange rates that, and Stripe, for instance, there are people right now that are looking for alternatives to Stripe and looking and PayPal, which is why Go HighLevel is now integrated with Authorize.net and NMI. Now, about 6 months ago, I became an agent with with an ISO, an independent sales organization, back in the merchant account world, and now I have access to rates that are like low rates. So that whole percentage you were talking about, that's Stripes actually takes about 4% now, and they're cutting people off. Their accounts are getting canceled, and that's why they were looking for alternatives. But I'll let you know when I'm finished, or I'm in the process now of developing pricing models that will be super affordable, that you can't really get just out there, because you have to have an agency in order to do it. And so I just mention it, that I think that being able to have a percentage that's saved for anybody that's processing credit cards, having that processing savings can be huge, especially if people are doing that on high, a lot of processing that's going on, So I just wanted to mention that, because I love that idea as part of something I'm involved with now. So.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more, David, about the ministry part and what you were saying about like the legal part of it and taxes and all of that? Because if anybody else is interested in it, I think, and I'm interested, I think I would love to know more about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, as an ordained minister, yeah, first of all, you can write. You can write a lot of stuff off associated with the ministry. It's like a bit, it's like any type of business. If you're a business, you can write things off. As a ministry, you can write things off. So, and then the IRS rules. There's some very specific rules about what you can. Now, I'm a W-2 employee, so it's a little bit different. That I get a paycheck from a church, every 2 weeks, or twice a month, and off the top of that, of my top pay, I get a deduction that comes off my top line that is for my housing. Now in San Francisco, that's quite a bit. If I were to tell you how much I pay for rent here, you'd say, well, you could have like 2 houses for mortgage. That it's pretty crazy, but that comes off my top line. And so it would be good to check with, and there are some rules around it, but it's just everything becomes a write-off. Mm-hmm. Anything that you buy for your home, because you're a parsonage, it all becomes a write-off. So, but it's important to check with. Now, for instance, we have a contract with a company called Clergy Advantage. And they take care of taxes and all the deductibles for clergy. So that would be worthwhile. Clergy Advantage is the organization, and you can get a free consultation with them and see if you qualify or see what the scoop is. Our church has a master contract with them for all the pastors on staff. And so they do our taxes. They help us with our finances. They'll help you with even how to best invest your money. Whether or not just different things that are really important regarding finances. They'll help guide you. And so that's an organization that would be able to help.
So do you have to be?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Would you mind putting the information in the chat or not? Or is that something you want to remain private, that you're dealing with the company?
Oh no, I mean this I'd be happy to. I'll go later when people are asking questions or whatever, and I'll go to the other screen and pull up Clergy Advantage. Actually, let me do that now. I can just take a look at it here, and I'll do it because.
So do you have to be registered as a nonprofit? Because not so much for me, but we have over 2,200 members in our program now. And I know it's crazy. God is good. But I hear a lot of this from people who are interested in this, or they're already established in this, and I think it just goes right along with taking whatever it is that you're passionate about and then building a business out of that. A lot of times people start the opposite way. They're like, oh, I want to have this business. And then they get into it and oh, this isn't really like, why am I dreading this every day? I might as well be an employee. So I definitely am really fascinated with the whole building a business around ministry and things like that. So that's something I just personally am more interested in, but also providing those resources like you're talking about, David, to educate people on really what the options are.
Yeah, I just throw it in. It's clergyadvantage.com. So we just put it in here. And again, I don't know what their qualifications are in regards. Now, anybody that is a church, in order to be a church, you have to be a 501c3. So you have to register, and become a qualified. And depending on the size of your church, there's certain tax things that we have ours audited. Our church audits things all the way down, so granular. We've got the highest level auditing that you can do because we've got actually a very large budget, that we're working with, and so it's important. And our particular congregation is mainly 40 years old and below, and there's probably 2,000 plus. So, and so they are all on apps, and that's how they pay. Our church has an app that allows for a payment processor and the whole church to be on a whole app. So it's like, they download the app and off they go, so.
Oh yeah, the app, crucial.
Yeah.
Also putting sermons on like Spotify and, Apple and things like that. So important. And a lot, especially the smaller churches, they don't have the budget and the expertise and all of that. So that's really what I love so much about what I do is I get to help the small starter church,
Yes.
before they grow, before they have the budget for the actual building. A lot of times they're just kind of working out of their house kind of thing and doing life groups and stuff like that. And I think that's so cool.
Well, the other thing too about, I was just on a call with pastors from all over the world that are, we were talking about church planting. And the thing is that many of them are bivocational. So, in other words, there's not a salary, or a very limited salary until you can get 200 people that can all tithe, and then it becomes how they're supported. But until then, it's bivocational, and there's all this stuff. It's so important. And there's the average size of a church, in America is about 200-300 people. So there's mega churches, yeah, but I mean, all those small churches all require help. And the pastors, the truth is, anybody that's in ministry knows it's a lot of work. So, and so that's what I do full time. And with my Fridays set aside to doing, and little spots in between, but the majority of my time is doing that. So.
Isn't it cool though that you can marry those two things together?
Yes.
Yeah, it just goes to, you find your audience, you find your group, and then just monetize. I mean, it's limitless what you can monetize with. So are you talking about taking that, the processor, are you going to be using that in your church?
No, that's a little bit of a conflict of interest, because my marketing and all the stuff that I've done on the side, I've wound up with 2 Facebook profiles. So one is my ministry profile and one is my marketing profile. I haven't, inside the church, I'm not making recommendations because I'm a part of it, so there's that kind of like, oh, I could help with your credit card processing too. And they go, well, you work here. So it's like, oh, gee. So that's not so, but I have other places that I'm, so they know that I have my wife doesn't like me calling it my side hustle. She said, why are you calling it a side hustle? You love it. It's not even a hustle. It's like you do this on Fridays or, so.
It's a continuation.
But, yeah, it's a continuation. Well, I couldn't get it out of my blood. I was, it's like I've done marketing and sales my entire life. So it's a part of, it's like your DNA. You just can't help yourself. Right. And
your calling.
it's very therapeutic, even though it's a lot of work. But yeah, so I have other places that I'm looking at. Anybody, of course, right now it's just getting started, so I'm just putting together the programs, like what the rate that Visa MasterCard charges, plus that's called interchange, and there's like 50 different ones for Visa and 50 different ones. If you have a travel card, there's a higher rate to the merchant. If you have a debit card, it's a different rate. There's all these different rates that goes back to Visa MasterCard for processing fees. And then that rate is called interchange. And then companies like ISOs mark it up to be able to have a profit. And that's where residual income comes from, is from those transactions that go through. But being able to have a low cost, there's a lot of profit right now that's out there because people are managing risk. So Stripe right now has a lot of fraud, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on because it's easy to sign up for, but there's also billions of dollars of loss. And so that's why they bump the rates up so high. So if we can reduce the rates for people, it's just right now, by the way, back to recurring billing, just so you know, there's software that integrates with QuickBooks that called ChargeZoom. And what it does is it allows for a surcharge for recurring billing. And we're working on a rate right now for both ChargeZoom, the software reduced rate, as well as the processing fees. So, and because you can actually charge a surcharge, that's what my son does with his pool company. He charges his customers that use credit cards a 3% surcharge, and it covers all his fees. So, and that's in recurring billing. So that's another way of doing it. I went to the restaurant. We got this really great, I live in San Francisco in the Mission District. It's where all the Hispanic food is. It's like, from Nicaragua and from El Salvador, and pupusas and burritos and all the great food, it's like, and right around the corner, there's a restaurant that has like the best like burritos ever, and they just started surcharging. And so they have a new point of sale system that has a percentage that the customer gets charged extra, and it offsets all their fees.
We have a lawn care business as well. And that's one we use HighLevel for like the marketing aspect of it. And then once they become a customer, we move them over to Yardbook, which if anybody's watching, Yardbook's great if you have a lawn care landscaping business. It's specifically for that. But they have that option as well when you send out the invoices that you can charge them what the payment processor charges. But people don't really, if you have a business like a retail business where people are going into the store and you can say, it's this much cash, and if you want to pay by card, here's the processing, that I think would be beneficial, because then it's kind of giving them the option. You can pay cash, but here's the fees that we have to pay. There's pros and cons to all of those things, but it's really unfortunate that it has to be that way.
Well, it's fun finding solutions for people.
Yeah,
exactly. And the other part of that is how do you differentiate yourself from all the other people that are out there, and what's your unique selling proposition? Who are you personally? We always add ourselves to the mix, because you always that's why I'm here, because of you guys and for Bridget, right? You can never, it's not like you're selling a product it can be partly that, but it also like who we are as a people and our commitment to the values. But how do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah, and it's all part of the know, like, and trust factor. When you're doing videos, and I always laugh because I'm the same person that was creating videos like 4 years ago that no one ever watched, but now and of course I know that I've gotten better over the years and things like that, but I always laugh because it's like, people are, oh, you're just a natural. Oh, your training is so great. But a lot of work goes into that. And it's like what you were saying, David, you have years of experience in all of these things, and you have experience in things that a lot of other people do not. So if you are choosing this niche and you create videos just like I do, where it's informative and you say, here's the pros and cons of this, you have so much value to give to that market that, I mean, I would watch your videos, but it's also going to help you with that, the payment processor that you're working with, because all of those, if you do a video about how to create a website for a church, guess who's going to be watching that video? Now you get to the part where you're talking about payment processors, and you can talk about the pros and cons. And I honestly, I could see a real easy chart for you. Here's what you're spending in, Stripe or whatever. Here's what you spend in this. And here is the total cost if you're bringing in this every single year. The next slide would then be how many a picture of a pretty girl, a little girl who's like, maybe eating some fresh fruit. We could feed this many families with what you're saving with this payment processor. I'd be sold. Who wouldn't be sold?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just the value. It's not, a lot of times we just think of like, oh, we need to make that sale. But it's not really about making the sale. It's really about providing a better solution for the people who are our audience.
Right. Yeah. And companies deserve to be, salespeople deserve to be paid, and processing requires a cost, but the amount of margins that are in there don't need to be that big. So it's like, it's like,
and I love the idea that if you're charging too much, somebody's going to have a better solution.
Yeah.
You either take care of your customer or someone else will.
Yeah.
So if you get to a point where if your software has too much risk, and now you need to raise the price for other people who don't have the risk, that's a choice you make as a business owner. But as the customer of that processor, if it becomes too much, then now I have a choice to make. I can go to another processor. And, that's really all it boils down to. If it's no longer a great solution, there's going to be alternatives. And if you have the alternative, now you can go to every single church who's using Stripe, send them that same video where you talk about, here's Stripe, here's our processor, here's what you could do with the money that you're saving. How many clients are you going to get?
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Yeah. It's the story, and it really is a true story too. It's not like a fake one.
Yeah.
Really,
So quick question then. Are you using Stripe? Or does everybody kind of have the consensus of opinion that maybe Stripe is better than PayPal or some of the other processors, or what?
Well, Stripe is the main payment processor we use in HighLevel. And we had PayPal, but it's really only available at the sub account level. And then with the other, like Authorize.net and that other one, I can't even ever pronounce.
NMI.
That's an option as well. So really, payment processors all have their pros and cons. But when you get to be the biggest ones, like Stripe and PayPal, you have more horror stories than the other ones. So it's kind of like, really, they all have their pros and cons, like I said. But PayPal, I can't stand PayPal for so many reasons. I prefer Stripe because Stripe integrates with everything. If there's one software that takes a payment gateway, it's gonna be Stripe, so that's just basically
super simple. That's the thing with Stripe is you could sign up, and the next thing you know, within just 30 minutes, you're up and running, taking credit cards, and it integrates with everything. So it's the other stuff may cost less, but does require can cost a little bit less, your investment every month or every transaction. But it does require a little bit more if it doesn't fully integrate. And that's why I go HighLevel. I'm looking forward to seeing how NMI and Authorize.net right now, how does that actually integrate well? And I'm going to be playing around with it. So, because I'll have an account, I can do it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
and
setting
then when you
myself
do it,
up
you can do
first.
trading.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Hey, I have a question about on a separate subject, just real quick. I'm setting up a friend of mine with from scratch with a Go HighLevel account and a EL Messenger, and I was wondering, I hooked up an EL Messenger this morning, and then I was wondering, do you know Simple question, probably. I couldn't find the information anywhere though. How long? I even looked at my friend Bridget. I looked at your trainings, but I couldn't find the answer to this question. Was like, how long does it take to populate the contact field when you hook up a brand new Facebook account?
So the contacts will not be in L Messenger until they have engaged in some way. So typically through Messenger. So if you're sending friend requests and you send them a message at the same time, they're going to end up, and of course you want to, when you're sending the friend request, we're tagging them, that puts them in the system, we're sending a message to them, and that's what gets them in there, right? Because really, we don't want people who are not engaging, we don't want them in there. They're not going to be tagged with anything because they've not even engaged at all. But when you're accepting friend requests, you can tag them with something. If you're deleting friend requests, you can tag them with something, and I do that. When I delete them and I say, hey, sorry, I'm nearing the end of my friend request list or my allotted friends, but I'm actually more active in my group anyway. And then I share the link with my group. Then it tags them as deleted friends. And then I have them in that category in the contacts.
Okay, that's where I misunderstood something. It was like, because I hooked mine up a long time ago and I've got all this stuff in there and I don't remember where it all came from, and tagging them all and all that. And then in a brand new account, I'm hitting like the buttons and I'm going, there's nobody there. like where are they? Yeah. So that makes sense now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you do that engage feature, which, this is like a no-brainer post. Ray, I'll get right to you. I promise. I see your hand up.
That's fine.
If you like this, let me see this post right here that I just reposted. And of course, you guys can take this idea because you have all of the same software. But occasionally I create a new post just like this. I even copied, the content that I had before. I just created a new image. But you can see I just posted this 23 hours ago and I already have 46 comments. Now I set this up on an engage feature inside of L Messenger. So when all of these people comment and I send them a message, then it goes into my back office. Let me open this up so you can see. It will be tagged with, I think this one was new. I think this one, but if I tag them with this one, then they're going to be here in these contexts. So what's really cool is I can then, once they're in here, okay, now I've already sent them a message and I have my message segments here, right? And I created my message template, and here you want to select if this is the message going out when you send friend requests that are being tagged with this tag here. But once they're in your contacts, you can send an automated message to all of these people. But what's really cool is, when you send this message, because they're tagged with this, how they got tagged, like how they ended up in your system. And of course, you can also see the notes here and so on for all of the different tags that they've had. But like, for example, with this free tools and training, I could select all of these contacts. I could send an automated message to them and it could say, hey, what are you thinking about the tools that you signed up for? Did you get, access to everything? Did you have any questions? And now look, for 239 people, I'm going to get a lot of responses. And if my post got lost in the shuffle, now it's getting moved back up to the top because I've sent them another message, and now we can start opening that conversation. But the magic is, I didn't cold message anyone. I didn't have to do any of that. They all raised their hand and said, I'm interested. And so all I'm doing is following up. And like 98% of marketers and business owners, they don't follow up. And that's where the magic happens in the follow-up.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that. That's sometimes it's so easy to kind of get lost in how this all actually works. It takes a little while to get it in, kind of embedded.
Yeah. You just got to kind of get the flow, get your mind wrapped around the flow. I totally get it. I see your hand, Ray. How can I help you?
First, let me say to David, I find that the Fathom recordings that we have are invaluable. And I see you're not on that. So if you're not getting the Fathom recording of this every time we come to a Zoom thing, you ought to sign up for it. It is fantastic. You said, now what did she say? I can't remember how to do that. And you can replay it. And at first I thought it was just text, but you can replay the video and text at the same time, and you can search for it, get right to that spot that you wanted to get to, and it's really good. Sorry.
Thanks for the reminder on that too. I did get a invitation to that. I just didn't do it yet. So thank you for reminding me.
It's invaluable, and she sends it to you every day and email, and so it's just really fantastic.
Hey, what's even cooler is it automatically sends that email. So whoever attends, they get a recording. That is super, super cool, super time saver and valuable for everyone. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, one more thing. I was going to tell everybody that's listening what a jewel that Bridget is. I signed up. May I share my screen for my question? Sure. And I'll show you what I mean here. Let me see here. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, why not? I'll hit share. There it is. Okay.
See it.
There we go. The reason that she is such a jewel is that I had built with the Vision login a great website and published it. And I sent it out, and it's on a domain and everything's great. But it was also simultaneous with this customer that I have. It's a client, and I have the one business opportunity plan. And so that's my one business opportunity. And so she went and copied over from here to here for me the snapshot, but it didn't contain that. For some reason, we had deleted some stuff. I don't know why it didn't, but it didn't contain it the first time. And so late last night, I sent another request, and early this morning, I got an email saying, try again. And lo and behold, there it is. And it is in the right spot. Now I have imported the snapshot, and there it is. And you can see my deal. If I switch to the sub account, I can go to sites, and there it is, JR Custom PCs. The problem is it's the original is still over there in the domain. So my simple question is, how do I switch to this one and have the domain connected to this one? I have made a few changes. For instance, I have built the form a little better, and you can see as I get here, this is a form, and I still have to build a new workflow, but I wanted to make sure the form and everything was going to work. But this is the new site on the right spot where it should be, and the old site is still connected to the domain. And so I have Bluehost here, and you can see that I have
so you don't need to change the records, but if you go back to My Vision Agency, and then you go to settings all the way at the bottom, and then you go to domains, then just go ahead and delete those domains.
You're kidding. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Then you don't have to do anything in the registrar at all. You just want to go add them, just type them in there, where just click add new domain inside of your agency in the sub account you want to connect it to. So his. So if you back out of that, and then you go to same place, go to settings at the bottom, and then go to domains, and then go to add new domain.
Yes. Go to domains. Is it under here? Yeah, there it is. Add new domain.
Yeah. And then go ahead, and I like to do the www version first and connect it, and then the root domain.
Okay.
Go ahead and add. And then select the funnel that you want to add it to. So that one there. And then select the page that you want to be the home page. And then link domain. And then you're going to do the same thing with the root domain without the www. So go ahead and click add new domain again. And then type in the jrcustompcs.com. And then add. And then select the funnel and the page. And then link domain.
Wow. Okay.
And then what I like to do after I've done that is if you go back and go to the site, so hit the go back button. And then go to your go to that specific website. Yeah, right there. Click on settings right there. Oops.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead and open up the website again, or funnel. And then click on settings. No, not that one. Go back. That's all right. Where it says, yeah, there you go. And then you see where it says domain. I just always like to check that and make sure that it's the root domain and not the www version. And the reason is because you don't want every page to have that www at the beginning for it to direct to that page.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of cleaning up to do and different things, but I'm getting closer to delivering this thing for him.
Cool.
And so I need to save, right? Well, I haven't made any changes.
Right.
Is this path home with a number? Does that need to be a number? Can I just say home?
You can delete it. Just delete those numbers there, and then you can save. And sometimes there'll be like a conflict with the domain, and then it will put those numbers there. But but yeah, that fixed it. So there's no conflict.
Okay. Everybody see what a jewel she is. She took so much time to get all this ported over for me. I really appreciate it.
It's all right. That's what I'm here for. You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions or anything I can help you with? We definitely have to spin our wheel. I didn't forget. Let's see who we have today. We have David, Maria, Ray. We have Terry. And hello, Terry. I haven't heard you speak up yet today. Hopefully all is well if you can't talk.
Absolutely.
Yay. And Jenna. I heard Jenna's laugh.
Thanks, Bridget.
Okay. So we have David, Maria, Ray, Terry, and Jenna. Did I
You gotta
miss
add another Terry for the note taker, Terry.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear my name, Bridget.
Frankie, how could I have ever forgotten you? Okay, let me share my screen here. All right, here we go. So just for everyone who's watching, whoever wins gets a free 30-minute private consultation, or you get 2 reseller licenses added to your account. So we'll go ahead and spin. Ta-da!
Whoa, yay.
So Frankie is the winner.
Yay.
Frankie, did you
Congrats.
Did you want the 2 reseller licenses or private consultation?
Sorry, I was so busy celebrating. I didn't hear the question. What did you say?
You were so cute, Frankie.
So what was the question?
Did you want 2 reseller licenses added to your account, or do you want 30-minute private consultation?
Private consultation. Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
I will send you the email so that you can get that scheduled as soon as we're done here.
Okay, wonderful.
Cool. Anybody else have anything? Yeah, right?
This is just short. You know, the color codes, the hex codes that have 6 digits after the pound sign.
Mhm.
I was building a brand last week, and it was all mixed up. You know, the 6 digits were everywhere, but the colors aren't very different. So if you have a 32 and a 68 and a 47, you can come back to that and take it 30, whatever I said, 60 and 40. You can round them, or you can say A, B, C, D. You can make them where they're not all over the place. And the colors are very, very, very similar. So as you're building your brand, don't settle for a color that is just all over the place. 39704FF. Build it, make a little minor change in that, and the colors aren't noticeable. And if you're satisfied with that, so much easier to remember. And so that's just a tip that I have for all of my colors. My colors don't have all those weird numbers in them. They have easy to remember numbers like 30, 40, and 50 or something like that.
I like to choose and colorhunt.co is a website that I like to use. I like to go by the color palette. And when I say color palette, I mean literally like 5 colors. So you should really like have a dark color, a light color, a bright color, and then your own white and your own black. Those are the kind of the rules that I like to put in my color palette. Then here's what I really love. You can use Canva and you can add those. You can build your brand. It's called the Brand Hub now. And when you do that, you have all of your colors built here. So you can see like, here's the brand that I have here. And then I also have like our lawn care business here. So I have that brand. But what's really cool is when I go to create a, let's just say Facebook cover, and I want to change the colors, I can, let's just say I want to use this here, and I want to change the colors because this is so important with branding. Okay. You just want to make sure that you're using the same color on everything. So you can see here, what I love about Canva is it does bring in all the colors that are there so that you can, like, if you like a color and you want to use it. But if I'm using this for like my brand, for example, or I wanted to use it for our lawn care business, I have all of our colors here. So what makes it really easy, if I want to make sure I'm using my brand colors, I can choose this here. So that's just, I don't have to know the color, right? And then I can click here, I can go up here, I can change this to this color. And then it even gives me the option here to change all. So I can change all of that color to this. Now, when I'm in the website builder, I can, let me see, get in. Let me see if I have the, yeah. So when I'm in the website builder, one of the first things that I like to do is if I go in here and open up this page, you can actually take those hex codes. So if I wanted this hex code, for example, I could just copy this, right? Or I can click here and then do Control-C to copy. And then I can go back here inside the builder and I can just click somewhere and then actually add my own colors. So what I'll do when I'm first starting one is I'll just go through, add all of these colors, and then it makes it so easy because I just click on the thing, click there. Okay, I want this to be that color. And then I go down here, I highlight this. Okay, I want this to be, you know, this, maybe this color, whatever, right? So that's talking about the colors. That is definitely a quick color hack because once it's built in here, you don't have to worry about all of those hex codes and things.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. And you can also, I did a training on, I think it's called Fun with Custom Values, but you can actually even use custom values for hex codes. So if you created like a really cool website and you want to make it simple for like the brand, like another brand to take it over, and then you can use that custom value in place of the hex code. And then when they get, you know, access to the funnel, they just go to custom values and then they paste in their hex codes in each of the custom values, and then it updates the website.
Whoa, how do you do that?
So cool, right?
I was just going to compliment you on something else, but now you opened my eyes and I want to see that. Because I literally this week built a website off of another website that I had in HighLevel. I just copied it, changed the colors, and finished the text. And I was like 30 minutes done with the website.
Yeah,
it's probably one of my most proud agency moments ever.
Hey, that's awesome.
I was like, I love HighLevel.
I know. I feel you. We talk about good solutions that you don't have to lie about. That's high level. I just love it.
Yeah.
So
But I'd love
here's
to
what,
see how to do the custom values in the builder.
yeah, this is so cool. And definitely check out my YouTube channel so you can see a much deeper training on this.
Okay.
Go in there and then search custom values. And then we have this, I'll share this with you, but it's called Fun with Custom Values. And I go in a much more detail about how you can use this. So let me share this in the chat here, and then I'll show you just a real quick thing that you can get an idea. Okay, so that's in the chat. Let me share my screen again and I'll show you. This is so cool. Okay, so go to your settings, go to custom values, and let's just type in header, or actually, instead of doing that, let's just do brand color 1. And then let's just put paste hex code here. All right, so we got brand color 1, paste hex code here. Then of course we could create many of them, right? So now I need to go, I need to search for this custom value, and I'm going to copy. Let me actually, instead of pasting that there, let me choose a brand color so you can see the difference. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back here now. So I'm going to paste this here. Okay. So imagine imagine you have, multiple of these, maybe 5 or 6 or whatever, and you want to build a funnel using these custom values. So now all you got to do is, once you have created the custom value, then you can go back to the funnel, and let's click in here, and I can replace anywhere that I want that specific hex code. I can just replace the current color. So this one, for example, that says it's blue background for some reason. Let me see where that red is. Let's try this. Let me find something that actually has a color. Okay, so here we go. So the background color here. So I can click here and then add this hex code, add color, and now it's green. So if I want this, I know, right? So
Perfect.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I know, it's so cool. So you can do that with any of these, okay? And then, so wherever that custom value is, it's going to update whatever you have added in that field.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you have
Now,
to
is
do
that
it for the
gonna change?
text, for the background. So that's quite a few different colors and schemes.
Well, I mean, typically you'd want to do like, maybe 5. Like I was saying, I really only like to have like maybe 5 or 6 brand colors. So you would probably only have 5 or 6, but you can do the same thing with a logo. So if you want to put, the link to someone's logo, all you'd have to do is like have them upload it to the gallery, right click to grab the link, and then paste it in the custom value that is for the logo.
Right.
And then wherever you have that custom value for wherever you have the logo, you replace that with the custom value. And then now they just add the link to their logo. And then you could have 9,000 websites and it will update them all with that custom value.
Yeah, that is really cool.
It
I think I
really,
may be
really
overthinking this, but yeah, the custom value for the logo has been cool.
Yeah, super cool. All right, awesome. Anybody else have anything? No. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. And of course, I will see you all on Monday. We're going to talk next week about the agency side. We've talked about, building a brand for a church. We've talked about building a website and managing all of the website and the sermons and building a blog and all that stuff. But next week, we're going to talk about more the agency side. So why would a church need their own HighLevel account? Real easy, because they have multiple locations. Each location can have their own sub account, right? Also, if you're promoting to churches and ministries and building out that snapshot, and then you're just loading it into the account, those things. And I am hoping, if I have time, I can show you guys the super cool thing, this AI. Let me share with you real quick here, how you can train AI to use your voice and
That
create
was so
videos.
cool.
I'm mind blown, and I'll just show you this real quick here. created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." Okay, you guys can check out my profile if you want to see the whole thing. But I did not read that. I trained AI to know my voice. And so you can actually just paste in text, and then it will read that. You're creating audio of your voice, reading that text, and then you also can just put in like scenes to the video, so you can take from audio to the video. You could literally imagine PLR products.
That is so cool. I saw that on your feed, and I was like, what? Like, that is so neat. Like, as a mom with kids, I'm like, to be able to put my voice or dad's voice on the scriptures and being able to save it for them, I think that is so cool.
Yeah. So many time-saving things. Really.
Yeah. Like, that blew my mind, and I thought that was so cool. So you're gonna do a training on that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely tag me on it. That was so cool. I like blew my mind the other day when I saw that.
And it's also such a time saver, because how many times, I know I do this a lot when you're creating videos, even if you're reading off a script, you mess up, you stumble through your words, or you say way too many times.
Oh, I never even thought of that application.
Yeah, and you have to go back and edit and cut and do all this stuff. But if you just paste in the text exactly what you want, and the voice gets better too, the more you train it. And you can even submit videos and read different things and keep training the voice. It gets better and better. That was literally just my first shot at trying it.
Wow.
But so exciting what you can do.
Okay, question.
Front row seat to that.
Yeah.
Does it store, like, what is this built off of? Are they storing your voice and like sharing this with something? Or my husband's really into stuff like that.
You can go to myvisionagency.com/Descript. That is the tool that I'm using. But when you submit your voice, you have to do like this legal disclaimer where you're reading something and it's recording it. And you're saying like, I, Bridget Bartlett, verify that this is my voice, and Descript is allowed to use it for, for these purposes. So they're not like putting it in like a database of voices that everyone can use. So you have to give them permission to use it and verify that it is your actual voice.
Okay.
Yeah. For now, Bridget, for now, it will go out to other people. Eventually, people have access to stuff, as we know, that they say you don't. They don't, but they do.
Yeah. Well, I do think there's going to be a big legal crackdown on this, because it's fun for us to play as marketers, but in the span of the world, I'm already seeing TikTok videos where like Elon Musk was like raving on about how much he's a fan of Trump. I saw that whole video. He never said any of those things, but it looks like him. It sounds like him. His voice is moving like him. So
that's
you can
freaky stuff.
Yeah, you can imagine really
or like people can get framed.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
like it's
stuff.
Court. I mean, used to be that we're like, oh yeah, we have video, it's proof. Now, how much proof do we really have with video?
Yeah,
it's kind of scary.
Yeah,
there have been several singers that have already filed suit because Drake, I think, is one of them, and somebody made a lot of money off of Drake videos that weren't true, weren't original. He had to prove it. Drake had to prove it. They finally dropped the suit and took it off the internet. But still, a lot of money.
I mean, AI is, So I definitely do think there's going to be lots of regulations and things. And I think Descript is really smart for putting that step in there to say, have you read your own voice and say, yes, this is really my voice. To save them from that, but also kind of protect you, because you don't, I could get anybody's voice. I joke with my husband all the time, like I want to take his voice because he has a great voice, and I want to have him reading all kinds of things, but I could also just have him say, now, remember when you told me we were going to Hawaii this summer? Remember that? I have a recording of it right here.
The very white voice.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll see what transpires from that. But I definitely, I actually, the more I think about it, I'm going to have to work in that training for you guys because I'm really excited to share it with you. So
I'm
I will.
excited to learn.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys have anything else before I let you go for the weekend?
Get some rest.
Always, of course. I don't work on the weekends anymore. I used to for a long time, but I don't anymore.
Thank you. And congratulations, Frankie.
Yeah. Super
Yeah.
excited for you. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. Have an awesome weekend. Go make your vision a reality. Bye.
Thanks, Bridget.